So I recently upgraded from the Digitakt to the Digitakt II, and I've had about a month to play around on it. And if you're like me, a very satisfied and seasoned user of the Digitakt, you might be eyeing or at least still be considering upgrading to the Digitakt II. For those of you who might not know, I do a show here on my YouTube channel where I live stream improvised music, and the Digitakt had always been the main sampler, sequencer, and brains behind the whole operation. The Digitakt II is sporting features and filling voids I didn't even know existed, enhancing both workflow and creativity. So today I wanted to go over my favorite features of the Digitakt II and the feature that ultimately put me over the edge to upgrade. Let's take a look. Alright, so physically both units look relatively identical. There are a few new buttons that serve new functions for features on the Digitakt II, but I think one of the biggest features is one you can't really see, and that's the inclusion of 20 gigabytes of plus drive sample memory versus the available 1 gigabyte on the original Digitakt. Not only do they give you all that space to store new samples in, but they also allow you to play back, sample, and import stereo samples as opposed to just mono compatibility on the original. You might also notice the lack of track labeling compared to the original Digitakt, and there's a really good reason for that. The Digitakt II allows you to switch between audio and MIDI channels across every single track, so you can have up to 16 audio or 16 MIDI tracks, all switchable through the machine page here. So you have your audio machines in this list, and then all the way at the bottom, you can switch it into a MIDI track if you really want to. So there's really no need to label specifically what tracks are audio or MIDI. That's up to you now. They also decided to give you an extra page of modulation, bringing the total LFOs up to 3 versus the available 2 on the original Digitakt. So 16 audio channels, more modulation. This thing is really shining as a real standalone unit now. So another feature that got my attention was actually the, in setup here, you can go to compressor routing and you can change what tracks are being sent to the master compressor. So let's say you wanted to sidechain something. Go to your sidechain page, set the trigger to whatever track your kick or trigger track is on. In this case, it's just track number 1 on the kick. And you can see whenever I hit the kick, it's triggering the sidechain signal there. So set your threshold, do all that good stuff. And then if you go into the setup, go to compressor routing and remove the kick and whatever else you don't want sidechain. So that being the clap here. So I'll just take those 2 out of the routing. And if I hit play here, track 4 was being sent to the compressor, thus being sidechained. Otherwise, you get this mess. So really cool feature there, guys. That's really nifty, especially when you're just jamming on this thing standalone. You can have up to 16 tracks all bouncing around, ducking whenever that kick hits, and it's really easy to set up. Another cool thing they added on the Digitakt II is a master overdrive, so you can really beef up all the music that you're making on this guy. All right, so this next feature was actually the one that put me over the edge to upgrade, and it might be a little underwhelming, but it's something that means the world to me. As you guys know, I do that live show, and it's all improvised, so recalling certain samples, keeping things organized is really, really important to me. So I would spend a lot of time on the computer organizing my samples into files for the Digitakt. But you can notice that there's only 127 slots per project that you can load your samples into. So still a lot of potential, but still pretty limiting. On the DT2 here, they give you 8 banks of 127. So you can have all your percussion samples in one bank here, then your synth samples, then your drum loops, then your acapellas, all that cool stuff. So it really helps keep things organized, especially in an improvised setting, which I primarily use it in. So again, thank you, Elektron. This memory upgrade is amazing, and it's been helping me stay quick, organized, and really helping with the workflow. So fantastic. All right, so another cool feature they put in is the inclusion of a Euclidean sequencer. So you access that by hitting Function and Amp. This brings up the Euclidean sequencer here. We'll go into our record menu and we'll just quickly put in a quick little pattern. I'm not going to explain completely what this does, but it is awesome, and it's really good for random generation of patterns. So All right, so another cool feature they put in is a comb filter, guys. So not only do you get this swappable high pass and low pass mode, which is awesome, so you can quickly transition between a high pass and a low pass. But if you go into your machines here, while you're in the filter, it lets you actually choose a comb filter. So this really leads to some unique sound design opportunities and discoveries. So with the comb filter on that little Euclidean sequence, this is what it sounds like. Probably not the best demo, but for sound design purposes and, you know, just messing around, it's a really cool tool to have around. So like I've mentioned before, I do like to perform a lot on these units. So one thing that I really liked was that they added mute additions. So say you have a bunch of tracks that you need to mute, but you don't have all the fingers to do that. So they actually allow you to enter the mute mode here, and then hold down function and select what tracks you want to have muted or unmuted when you release. So let's say I have a drop coming up. I need these tracks muted. I just need these two playing. I audition that and I let go and it mutes those for me all in time, which is awesome. And the opposite too. So now if I need them back, do that. Boom, they're on. It's amazing. So that's just kind of scratching the surface of the overall functionality and new features of the Digitakt II. There is so much more to talk about that I'll leave for the other content creators on YouTube here. That being said, I wanted to show you guys my favorite features and the reasons why I decided to go with the Digitakt II, but was it really worth it? I think combined with the extra track flexibility, the extra modulation, and the ability to organize your samples in such a way really is appealing. You can get a lot out of the original Digitakt, guys, especially if you're using it with other gear. It really shines. The Digitakt II, I think it really does a great job in being more of a standalone focused unit without the need of any other synthesizers or gear being ran with it. I found with the original Digitakt, it was a little too claustrophobic with there only being 8 audio channels and 8 MIDI tracks. It's great, but I don't even have 8 units in here to control. So a lot of those MIDI channels were going to waste, and it's nice to be able to swap those out for audio channels on the Digitakt II. So should you go and sell your Digitakt and get a Digitakt II? There is still so many good things to say about the Digitakt that I still think that if you found one for a really good price, pick one up. They should not be ignored even in this day and age. They are still workhorses. If you're just looking for a drum machine, get a Digitakt. If you're looking for an all-round groove box, get a Digitakt II. So hopefully that helps you guys make a decision. If you guys have any more questions, drop them down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that YouTube jargon. That really means a lot to me. And I'll be around, guys. Go follow me on Instagram. Go watch Monday Funk Day. It's a blast. And yes, I will catch you in the next one. Take care.